it at 22 seconds where you are, okay? 22 seconds, you right? Or what does it say for you? What's the counter saying?
22.
Yes, okay, 22. So hold on. I'm gonna pause at 22. Okay. Okay, so hi everyone. This is Veni Vidi Vici for a special commentary here this time. I'm gonna be doing a dual commentary of a recorded game, and I am joined here by Fards, also known on several other accounts as Cayman76, as you see over here. Hello, Fards.
Yeah, hello.
The idea here is that I will do a commentary together with him and also give you some special insights because he played the game. By the way, he's playing versus a Nguyen, and that's also another account of GoodSpeed. It is going to be a Dutch versus Aztecs game on Painted Desert. This is going to be played on fan patch, by the way, fan patch 1.2, and that means that there are a few differences compared to the RE patch. I'm not going into detail about that, but it is a competitive patch, and I think this is a little bit in the advantage of the Aztecs player, I would say. So what we're going to do now is we're going to both watch the replay and share our commentary, thoughts and insights with you, and since this is the first time, we're just going to have to see how it works out. Okay, so Fart, let's go, okay? Let's start.
Yeah, go.
Okay, 22 seconds. Okay, so the map is Painted Desert. That means that the distance between the two town centers is quite close, as you can see over here. Also there are of course cows available on the map. And I will be casting this record game with the fog of war off, so that we can see both players. Sometimes I might change it back, so you can see what each player might think, or well actually what each player might be doing based on what they can and can see. So Dutch here is gathering a little bit of coin, of course. You want to make villages constantly until you are aging, and since Dutch villagers cost coin, they have to get a little bit of coin for that. Aztecs on the other hand, just gonna gather food, of course, here. And what we already see is that the herding of GoodSpeed, I'm just gonna refer to him as GoodSpeed by the way, not his Nguyen account name, is quite good. He has a herd exactly at his town center. That means that you will have less walking time with your villages, and of course that will increase your age up time. On the other side of the map here, Fards is doing his herding as well. You see that he just brought in the herds a little bit closer towards his town center. So Fards, tell me, you are playing this matchup as Dutch. What are you thinking? What is your thought about units you're going to make?
I usually wanted to start only Asa Semi, but yeah, you will see.
Okay.
What happens? Yeah, I want to go two banks. No, I want to go bank wagon and stable. So I have early.
Okay, good.
Out, but yeah.
Okay, so the idea, why I ask this is because every game you play, depending on the other civ that you face and depending on the map, you will have some kind of strategy in your mind of what you're gonna do, and that is how you're gonna start the game off. And then of course you scout and you see what your opponent is doing, and then you adapt from there. So we just heard what Ford's plan was. Bandwagon first, probably going to go for a stable, trying to go for a semi-FF. Meanwhile you see that both players here are getting a few treasures. Let me just bring up the screen. GoodSpeed found 30 coin, Fard found 60 food, and now GoodSpeed also found 40 XP. And Fard is about to get a native American warrior. That's of course a nice little edge here, especially if you want to chase down the explorer of Aztecs. Because keep in mind, unlike the explorers of the European civilizations, the Aztecs always have a certain bonus. And in this case, the Aztec explorer will have a bonus of XP. That means that if you kill any unit inside the area of the hero, you get additional XP for it. And that just basically means that every time you have the chance to kill off a war chief hero, you should go for it, to make sure he doesn't have that advantage.
And what second are you?
I'm at 2 minutes 34 seconds. And you? Ford, hello. Earth calling Ford. You still here?
Yes, I'm here. So I'm at minute 3:18.
3:18, okay. Oh, that's quite a difference. Let me speed it up a little bit. Okay. Well, I guess we just have to keep an eye on the times for both of us, because it might be going too much out of sync. Anyway, I have both of them aging up right now. And you can see, of course, that Fard is now gathering wood with other villagers. You almost always want to make a bank in transition to the second age if you are a Dutch player. You have the time for it, and you will need it for a better economy later on. And on the other hand, here we see the Aztecs player aging up.
So do you
yes?
see my scouting now, Bini?
Yes.
My scouting with the Envoy and Explorer.
Yes.
I just waited for his villagers.
Yeah, I was about to say so, but yeah, just go ahead. Indeed, Fard said that he was scouting with his hero here, and he also brought his Dutch scout and his native warrior. He knows that Aztecs is likely to place an aggressive war hut somewhere on the map. So what his idea was is scout around the town center, and then at the moment that his villagers from GoodSpeed are gonna walk towards the center, Fard will go for it, and there you see that he can arrest the villagers, and now he is sieging the war hut. And the advantage of that, of course, is that you can already bring down a lot of the HP of the war hut, so that it is easier to take down later on. And there we see that GoodSpeed is bringing 2 more villagers to make sure that the war hut builds on time. Because you have to keep in mind, if you build with just 2 villagers, and it is going to be sieged all the time, it will be quite damaged when it's finished. And if you build it faster, it will take less damage during the building process, and thus more HP when it's done. It is done now, by the way, Fard. I'm at 445.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we see the war hut is done, but because of this scouting and nice move of Fard, we see that the war hut is now down to 640 HP, while the hero is still sieging it, and the native unfortunately died there. So I'm gonna quickly go over to Fard here. What you see here is that his plan. I'm gonna pause the game, by the way. Hold on. I'm gonna pause it 5 minutes and 2 seconds. I didn't cover this in the start of this game, but these are 2 very good players. Both Fard and GoodSpeed are very good players. So what you see is that both of them start with a certain game plan early on, and based on what is happening, you will see that they will adapt to it. So Fard, being able to do a lot of damage to his war hut, you see that it is now down to 570 HP and the hero is still sieging. He changed his game plan. He ships 8 pikemen first to take down the war hut, because he will do so. Because Dutch is a little bit faster than usual European civilization, so he has the time to do this. Meanwhile, you see that he is making a bank of the 400 wood from his age up. And I like this move a lot, because you could say I start with a stable and make a few hussars as well. But if you think a little bit further, the other player is Aztecs. He has several shipments available, also is very likely to ship a wood crate, and thus can make a new war hut as well as defending with, for example, 3 jaguars from his town center. So if you go for an all-in rush, it is not likely to succeed. So what Fards is doing here, he says, hey, I see a nice opportunity to take down this war hut. So he ships the 8 pikemen, but he knows that he needs some more economy in the back of this. So he's going to make a bank of the 8 job wood. Is that kind of what you thought, Fard, or am I completely off there?
No, that's right. Because,
okay.
Like you already mentioned, the map is very small, so I can instantly go with my pikes to his war hut and.
Okay. So I'm playing it again. I'm at 560 now. You see that the pikemen are coming over, and GoodSpeed also shipped 700 wood. I'm not sure if that was his preferred card or also an anticipation of Fard, anticipating his low war HP, etc. But he will need more wood to make a new war hut. So there we see that the war hut got down. The pikeman seized it, and now he's going to take down the hero. If you just want to say something, by the way, just jump in for it. So I'm not sure when you want to say something. So just go ahead.
Okay.
We see here, by the way, that GoodSpeed is now making his war hut in the back of his town center. I like that a lot. It gives you a little bit more time, of course, a little bit more line of sight as well. It's a little bit better defensive spot. And while his hero was busy with the pikemen, he chooses to go for 2 war huts because he is also shipping 600 wood after the 700 wood.
Yeah, what do you see is now I think overreaction, because look, my only 8 pikes forced him to do to go 700 and 600 wood and 2 blockhouses, war huts.
Yes. And that is again the nice thing about any strategy game. It is, like I said, a battle between anticipation moves and of course strategies, but you also want to try to trick your opponent and of course cause any overreaction, as Fards just said, to make sure that he wastes, for example, wood on 2 warheads while he doesn't really need it, and that means of course less units later on, etc. What you see here is that Fards now goes around with his pikeman because he spotted this house very far out from the base of GoodSpeed. If he goes too far in with his pikemen, he might get caught by, for example, jaguars and town center fire, so that's not really something he wants to do. He's now kind of going for guaranteed damage, and that means the house is on the outsides of the base, so if GoodSpeed is going for units or minutemen, Fards can still walk his pikemen back. I actually think this is, yeah, you can... Tell me, Fards, you were sieging down one house, you succeeded in that, but you decided to go for a second house. You get it down, but you lose almost all your pikemen. Tell me about it.
I just wanted to get this house because I already did much damage.
Okay, good. So,
and I thought maybe he will go all in now and send only units. So I wanted to be sure to have some time, because if you see my base, I'm on 3 banks now, market and stable.
Yes. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna pause it for a second there, because this is interesting as well. I'm at 7 minutes and 18 seconds, by the way.
Yes.
What Fards just said is something you have to keep in mind. It is again going about the anticipation thing. If you push an Aztec player this far, an Aztec player has the option to still rush, spam a lot of shipments, etc. There's always the chance, like Fards just described, that the other guy might go for some kind of all-in counter, because you might not expect it, or whatever the reasons. So Fards, knowing that he already did quite a lot of damage by taking down one warhead that cost 250 wood, and another warhead that was building, and 2 houses, and one warhead that was building, he opted to go for sieging down 2 houses, because that will give him more time, because of course GoodSpeed needs population if he wants to spam units, so it will give Fards more time to get up his setup right in the back of his base. So if we take a look there, and I'm also going to go to the point of view of Fards now, what he did was first ship 8 pikemen, and then he shipped 700 wood. That is a good choice here based on what you saw, because you need the 700 wood to get your extra buildings up. Here he opted to go for a stable, of course a few houses for the population, and another bank in the market. And from here on, he still has of course a few pikemen left over, he can spam hussars, and he has still the option to call minutemen if it's really needed. Also the addition of a market, I like that a lot. Let's say that as a Dutch player you build the bank, 1 house and a stable, and you have 100 wood left. It is really recommended to build a market instead of a house, especially if you don't need a house population right away. And that is because as Dutch you always have a lot of more coin in excess, and that means that you always have the option to buy a house if you really need it in your market. However, if you are popped and you don't have a market, gathering 100 wood will take quite some time, so that is something that you never really wanna do. Okay, so I'm at 7 minutes and 18 seconds for it. I'm gonna play it again from here.
Yes, go.
Okay. So what you see there is Fards' 2 pikemen will go for a little bit of a scout, but they meet the mace or tens of GoodSpeed. They will be taken out. However, he has found something more important here, and that is a new warhead coming up from GoodSpeed. And that means 2 things. First of all, GoodSpeed now has an additional warhead over there. That might be the 2nd or the 3rd. I'm not sure if Fards scouted the other warhead in the back. But also it shows that GoodSpeed is investing another 250 wood in a warhead, and that of course means it's less likely that GoodSpeed will go for the perhaps all-in that might have been an option. So Fards made 5 hussars. You see them charging in now on the Maestotins. The pikemans were also useful because he saw that there were no pikemans of GoodSpeed available yet, and that means of course you have free reign with your cavalry to take out Maestotins for free almost. Of course you take some damage, but it is a very cost-effective trade for Fards here.
Yes, that was very good from me. Now I just go raid.
Yep. There you see the 3 hussars that were left over. They're going to go for a raid. This again is just to buy some more time. From here on, what Fard is doing is building another house and a barracks in the back of his base. But that is something that he is likely doing to prepare for a third age up, rather than going for skirmisher pikemen in the second age. I think. Well, actually, let's just ask Fard since he is he's over here. What were your thoughts from here on, Fard?
I wanted to keep playing H2.
Oh, you want to keep playing H2? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to give him the whole map because he has already the ward in the middle and right and.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Well, okay, then let me pause it for a second here, because there actually, in my opinion, there are two options you can go for here. You can say on the one hand, I did quite some damage, both the early harassment, taking down in the maze sultans, and doing some raiding now, buying time, killing villagers perhaps. That will give you a bigger time window to, for example, age up and from there go with the better units, skirmisher, Reuter. On the other hand, Fard's Fard's thought process was, okay, I did quite a lot of damage, and I don't want to give him too much time to come back into the game, and therefore I want to keep H2 for a little bit and make some more mess. So as you see here, he is making both skirmishers and hussars at the same time, while he is shipping his fourth bank to, of course, get a very nice economy in the back of this. And let me also bring up quickly the... Oh wait, it's a recorded game, of course. I can't show you the post game, but Fard having almost 4 banks means that his economy is much better than the Aztecs economy. So of course he can spend more units. Okay, so I'm gonna go on again with the game. 8 minutes 52 seconds. Two nice moves here. We see on the right side a Cougar of GoodSpeed that is there exactly to spot raids. I think Fard's cavalry went a little bit more to the left of it, so he didn't spot it. But Fard is now raiding with 2 groups, and that's always very efficient. You see on the right side he's raiding with 5 hussars, on the left side he's raiding with 3 hussars. Nice micro going on as well. 3 hussars versus 2 pikemen. You saw him pulling back 1 hussar for a little bit to not take too much damage, and then he took out the 2 pikemen. On the right side he was facing coyotes. He chose to fight them for a little bit, but now he was running away because there were of course more reinforcements coming from GoodSpeed. But what this is doing is 2 things. Mostly it buys you time to get your army out, and also you might get some raiding done. For example, on the left side he is about to kill a villager, and even if you don't kill a villager, you always deny your opponent from gathering resources, which in turn means that you have more economy in the back of this. To be honest, I think Fard should have run away on the left side here, because he's gonna lose almost 2 hussars for killing 1 villager, and that's always a questionable decision. But he also has to do stuff at home, so you can't play perfect. There are no robots here. What he's doing nicely here, by the way, just interrupt me, Fard, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I think I was fine because I had 5 hussars on the back.
Okay. Yeah, but then you could have pulled these 2 back and fight with the 5. But he's doing that now. He brought in 5 more hussars, and then he was fighting these 3 pikemen, and that's of course the trade you will go for any time. And when he sees more pikemen coming in, he's of course running back, because that's something that's a little bit too much for him. In line with Fard's game plan, he is now shipping 3 hussars. Like I said, he could have, for example, shipped 700 gold and tried to age up, but he said no, I want to go for some more army and play it out in the second age. So then he ships 3 hussars to get some more hussars out for a push. I'm going to pause it for a little bit here, 10 minutes and 32 seconds, because what is going to happen is something very interesting. Not only is GoodSpeed pushing out, but also Fard shipped the 3 hussars, probably because he was expecting some kind of push from GoodSpeed as well, seeing all the pikemen mixed in. Fard has a lot of hussars available, and GoodSpeed doesn't have that many coyotes, and that's why a combination of skirmisher hussars is very effective. As soon as this plays out in a longer colonial battle, a combination of maze sultans, kind of like skirmishers, coyotes, kind of like cavalry, and pikemen is a more effective combination than, for example, skirmishers and hussars, because Fard doesn't have any anti-cavalry. So this is actually a perfect moment for Fard to engage this battle and to take down this whole army, because a few coyotes can be blocked by hussars easily, But as soon as this gets a big mass with a lot of coyotes, then it really gets hard for Dutch to deal with this. So I'm gonna play it again, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, what's gonna happen is really bad for me.
Oh.
Because my hussars went with wrong pathing and...
Okay, yes, I see that this happening now. That's a little bit unfortunate. Let me quickly pause it for a second. Two things happening here. First of all, his skirmishers were not at the fight early on. A little bit of a mistake. They should be, of course, there to snipe off any pikemen already. But what Ford was referring to, as you see here on my screen, there are two ways to go through the trees to the back. And I think that, well, actually, I don't think I can see this here. I see that Fards selected the hussars, and his rally point was towards the skirmishers. And based on the layout of this map, both trees, by the way, and his own buildings, the hussars were blocked going on the left side, so they had to go on the right side. And that is very unfortunate because they were just running into the pikemen of GoodSpeed, as you see over here. And that means that Ford lost quite a few hussars and quite some HP. One more thing I want to point out. You see here plus 40 on my screen. The usual XP bonus you get if you kill a hussar is 20 XP. But as I covered earlier, the Aztec hero gives a 100% bonus. And that means that GoodSpeed gets 20 more XP per hussar that he kills. And that's of course very nice because he can then send more shipments faster, go for more economy, more of a push, etc. But he gets more shipments. That's huge benefit. Any more you want to say about this Ford, or shall I continue?
Oh, let's
okay, so we see that he lost like 4 hussars here and some HP on the others.
Yeah,
however,
I lost a lot.
Yes, he lost a lot. However, the position that he got himself into, the defensive position from his skirmishers blocked by a bank, trees and a house, means that GoodSpeed was not able to push in any further, and that's why he went back. Because his pikemen went further back than his Mazel Tins, Ford saw a small opportunity to go in and snipe a little bit of this Mazel Tin HP. And this is exactly, by the way, I'm going to pause it again just for a quick second, sorry. This is again what I was referring to about the army combination. What you see here is skirmisher hussars chasing pikemen skirmishers. And, well, by the way, Mazel Tins is the same kind of unit as a skirmisher. It's of course a little bit more like a bow or whatever, but it's the same idea. So what you see here is that the hussars can go forward. That means the pikemen have to block them, but the moment the pikemen are about to engage, Ford will micro his hussars back, and the skirmishers will take down the pikemen. And this can go on forever and forever, because GoodSpeed has no coyotes, no cavalry, so he is not able to really commit and chase down the skirmishers. So that is a very good moment from Ford to push out, even though he's fighting near a warrant. He has to be very careful, as you see here, not to lose too much HP on his hussars. But he's doing quite a nice job. If you see, he already killed 3 pikemen, I think. 4th one going down, 5th one soon. What you also see, by the way, a little bit of a micro move. He was splitting up his skirmishers. Of course, he has here 12 skirmishers. You don't want to target 12 skirmishers on one unit, because you don't need it. So if you want to micro optimally, you will split your skirmishers so that you can take 2 or 3 units down at the same time. Okay, Ford from here is apparently still going for a second colonial age agenda. You see that he is shipping the pikeman skirmisher attack card, and he is making pikemen. And this is again a good anticipation move. He knew that he could probably get away with skirmisher hussars for this long, but of course GoodSpeed is a good player as well, so Ford has to know that GoodSpeed will make more coyotes from here on, and that means to counter coyotes you need something else, pikemen. So Ford is now mixing in pikemen in his army, and on the other hand you see here left of the warhead that GoodSpeed is now mixing in coyotes as well. So there you get a 3-unit combination army of both players. So far, tell me, what about the game from here on?
I tried to mass some pikes because I expected to push. Because in the early game I raided so many villagers and I knew.
Okay, yes. So indeed he was preparing for another push. And you see another raid coming in. I might have missed an earlier raid during the battle, I'm not sure. Did you raid during the battle actually, or did you have all your hussars at home?
While battle I was not raiding.
Okay.
All at home.
Yeah. Often raiding during battles, of course, is a very good move because your opponent is also busy in micro, and that means that you are likely to snipe off villages easier than if your opponent is not not busy with the main battle. However, Fard probably thought that he needed all his hussars back home, so in that case you want to be sure to be able to defend or do a good push. So he's trying to raid again here from the left side, but you see that GoodSpeed is protecting it with pikemen, because he's also anticipating another raid from Fard. He knows that these 2 or 3 hussars are quite busy on the left side of the map, so he knew that they will be coming back. There they go in again, and now he takes down so what's the word again? He uses his coyotes to chase down the cavalry of Fard here, and he will get all of them. And you see here that partly based on the partly because of all the additional XP that GoodSpeed got because he had this hero at the main fight, he now has quite a good mass of coyotes already, and that is gonna be something that makes it scary for a Dutch player. If you have a big coyote pikeman mass, that is something which is hard to deal with. So Fard is now going on the warhead. Actually, this is not a nice move. I have to pause it again. There are a lot of nice moves here. I told you this was a high level game. You see that, no, not you see, Fard saw that while he was raiding with 3 hussars, Nguyen GoodSpeed brought in 5 coyotes. And that's just something you want to bring to chase down the hussars. However, GoodSpeed wanted to make sure that he would take down all the hussars, and then you saw that GoodSpeed chose to go back with like 5 plus, let's say, 15 or so coyotes. That is actually too much. If you want to take down 3 hussars, you don't need that many. Fard saw that there were that many coyotes going back all the way to the edge of the map, and that means that he saw a good opportunity. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fard, but that means that he saw a good opportunity to take down the warhead. Because if there are so many coyotes in the back chasing down 2 or 3 hussars, it means that Fard has the upper hand in a big battle in the center. And knowing that the coyotes are in the back, it means that GoodSpeed can't engage, so Fard knows that he can take out the warhead.
Yep, that's right.
And so he does, and then GoodSpeed's army comes back, and well, now I let you talk for a little bit. The big fight is going on.
Yeah, the big fight is going on, and I couldn't escape, and I was in very bad position.
Yes, indeed.
I will lose my entire army, I think, if I remember right. My was bad and micro was best, but yeah, I lost my.
Yes, GoodSpeed was almost right back on time. Fard just sees down the warhead, but I think if he went down like 2 or 3 seconds earlier, he might have been in a better position. But as I just said, his position wasn't optimal, partly because of the gold mine, the wrong units at the wrong site. And yeah, the micro wasn't optimal either indeed, because the pikemen were not really blocking off the coyotes. His skirmishers were doing quite okay versus the pikemen of GoodSpeed, but the pikemen of GoodSpeed were also taking down quite a lot of hussars because they kind of got blocked by the mine and his own units. So it was indeed not the most optimal engagement for Fard. However, all in all, the first push out, the harassment with the villagers, delaying economy, killing some villagers, taking down another warhead. You see that Fard's score is now 147 compared to 92 of GoodSpeed. So even though Fard did not the best trade in the center, he is still ahead. Yes, he's definitely ahead.
And what do you think? I saw this score, and I had like 50 points score.
Yes.
I was ahead, and I just thought, yeah, that's G. Start thinking that the game will be hard for you after.
Sorry, the game will be
very hard.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh yeah, he can do nothing from yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the Dutch score is always a little bit inflated. So Fard said he had 50 score advantage, but it's not like 50 score advantage if you would play, for example, a mirror. It's not the same advantage in that regard. However, of course, he still has quite a big advantage. So you see that he chose to age up. I think it is a good move because Reuters will be very useful here, as well as, for example, Halberdiers versus the Coyotes. But Reuters are very useful because they are mobile to micro versus Coyotes and Pikemen, combined with the skirmishers. Also, of course, he has access to his third age shipments, for example, 9 Rorder that he's now shipping on the way. So that is something interesting as well. He can make a fort. He can, for example, ship these 12 Swiss pikemen later on, which really will do a good job versus Coyotes and Aztecs pikemen. Fard did mention an interesting thing, by the way. If you are ahead, well, let me just bring up a funny quote from Artosis from StarCraft 2. He's one of my favorite casters here. If you are ahead, make sure you get more ahead is one of his favorite lines. And that just means that you don't want to make any stupid decisions in, for example, fighting too much, too long in two bad spots. If you are ahead, get more ahead, and above all, make sure you don't get too overconfident in winning the game. A good player will always be able to might be able to get some kind of comeback. But meanwhile, sorry, I'm talking too much about that. On the left side here, you saw that Fard was first trying to push out a little bit with the skirmishers, just trying to raid a little bit on a few villages of GoodSpeed. But then GoodSpeed came in near the tower that Fard built there for map control. Also, of course, knowing that Fard aged, GoodSpeed knows that he has a small time window to do some damage because he was still messing units all the time. So yeah, a little bit of engagement going on here. Fard is losing some riders for his pikemen. He should have microed them back, but he was busy on the left side getting chased by Coyotes with his riders. And let me point that out, Reuters do counter Coyotes. However, on the fan page, Coyotes are a little bit stronger. And of course, if Coyotes are doing melee attack versus Reuters, that is hand attack, they do actually quite good. So if you don't micro your Reuters, they're not that great. You really do have to micro them. So, left side here, GoodSpeed is still harassing Fard's villagers. It might be that Fard is thinking, I am so far ahead, it doesn't really matter. But usually, of course, you would want to pull back your villagers and save them. But also there's, of course, lots of stuff going on. Fard has to maintain his overall macro, left and right side. He has to deal with the battle on the left side, and he was still raiding on the right side. So you try to optimize everything, but you can't do it all together.
I was very busy.
Yes. Okay, indeed.
So many resources and so.
Okay, so we see that Fard made an artillery foundry and he's now making cannons. Tell me something about your decision to go for cannons here.
I had too much resources.
Oh yeah, I didn't even look. That's true. Okay, guys. So anytime you have too many resources, make cannons. That is Fard's saying here. Now,
no, but I have to spend all my resources. Otherwise, I don't have units or.
Yes, that's a good point. You see that he was kind of low on food, so he couldn't spend all the resources on making skirmishes and Reuter, but he had a lot of wood and gold. So it's a good move to always spend your resources. Basically, it's quite simple. If you don't spend all your resources and your opponent does, it means he has the better army. So you always have to spend your resources, and you have to make sure that it's quite balanced as well, that you're not like stuck with 1k gold and no food. So here he was going for cannons because it was a very logical way to spend his resources. Also, of course, cannons are good versus any infantry mass from Aztecs. But you have to keep in mind that cannons and Reuters are vulnerable to a Coyote pikeman mass, because both Coyotes and pikemen come close in melee mode, and that means that pikemen counter Reuters, so Reuters have to run, and then pikemen and Coyotes can take down the cannons. So if you go for a combination like this, I think it's often recommended to mix in some halberdiers to have really melee. A melee shield versus Coyotes and pikemen. What do you think about that, Fard?
I don't know yet.
Okay, another battle here is commencing. You see that he's trying to micro the Reuter on the Coyotes. Of course, they counter them. You saw he's also trying to micro the cannons on the Mazel Tins and on the Pikemans. First of all Mazel Tins, then Pikemen, then Coyotes. And you see now exactly what I was talking about. The Coyotes and Pikemen both come close. If the Reuters would have blocked the path, it wouldn't matter that much because they would get slaughtered, as you see over here. So if Fard would have, for example, 5 or 10 halberdiers to cover the cannons, not only would it block the path to the cannons from the Coyotes to the cannons, it also would mean that, of course, halberdiers do very good versus Coyotes in countering them. So all in all, I think this battle went better for GoodSpeed, and that is because Fard invested quite a lot of resources in it. Of course, Fard killed a lot of his army, of GoodSpeed's army that is, and he is still in the 3rd age. You have to take that into account as well. But he lost 3 cannons and quite some Royal and skirmishes. So I think the battle was quite even, or perhaps a little bit in favor of GoodSpeed.
Overall, I think I lost all main bit, but the only thing which made life was my OP. Otherwise, I can't.
Sorry, the only thing was your what? The last part didn't come through.
My E was OP. That's why I survived.
Okay,
because,
good.
So I lost all battles.
Yes, that's a good point. If you are so much ahead in economy as Fard is, he has still 4 banks, I think, yes, and 34 villagers. If you are so much ahead in economy, you are allowed, you can take some less cost-effective fights. For example, because you want to keep down the army of the other guy, because you want to prevent him from aging, you want to prevent him from getting map control, etc. So if you are ahead that much in tech, that is age 3 here in this case, and in economy, you can do some less cost-effective trades in fightings, in battles here. Another tower is coming up here to protect these deers. Fard really is in need of food, so he really has to fight for this part of the map. And GoodSpeed, of course, knows that this is Fard's main priority now, because that is where the food is left for him. And GoodSpeed himself is also running out of food, so it's also actually where he soon has to go with his villagers. Some villages being idle here on the left side of the map from GoodSpeed. And you see that he's now not making any more pikemen. I like that. He's mainly going for Coyotes, Mazel Tins. If he can get a good mass of Coyotes out, he's still able to go close to any cannons if Fard would make any new cannons. Fard is shipping 6 Hackapel. I actually don't like that card. I think it's a waste of resources, so tell me, why do you ship it?
I had 1k coin and Coyotes, which I...
Why would you not, for example, ship the pikemen and go for sieging a war hut or a town center or whatever? Do you think the 6 Hackapel, which die quite fast to Coyote pikemen, are that useful? They're so low HP.
Of course they are useful, because I think they one-hit a mate. Also can go for a raid, and if I win versus the army, then win. No need to pikes and...
That is Fard in one sentence, by the way, guys. If you win versus the army, then you win. I like always how you say that. But indeed, his thinking, his thought process was that, okay, a Hackapel, one shot kills, one hit kills a Mazel Tin, because it has 121 attack or something. It 2 hits a villager, and it what is it? 3 hits a Coyote or something, or also 2 hits perhaps. It of course has crazy damage, but it has quite low HP, and that's why overall I think, yeah, they can be beneficial in an army. The advantage here was that the army of GoodSpeed was not that big. If you have a bigger army, low HP units are less useful, because they get killed easily by a lot of ranged fire, for example. If the other guy has a low army count, then your low HP units will of course do more effective in their fights. And of course you can go for a raid. They kill villages quite fast, that's true. So the game is finished here. We see that Fard won. So good job there. Like I said, it is a match between good players. In my opinion, it is, yeah, I say almost 50-50, but I would say a little bit in favor of Aztecs, partly because of Coyotes being quite strong on the fan patch. This is what this game was played on the fan patch. yeah, so
User joined your
any
channel.
any thoughts here, Fart? Any last thoughts about the game? Anything we missed?
So
Okay, no. That's clear.
just yeah, I lost all my battles. I don't know if I bet or
What did you say? You lost all your?
I lost all my battles. We
Oh,
had
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is something I don't want to be too harsh here on Fart because, as I've said before, he's a very good player. I like to play with him as well in team games. But the battles for him, indeed, as he just said, were not the best. We had a few big battles, and in most of them, yeah, the first one near the trees here, if you remember this, what you see here on my screen, it is a little bit unlucky. That is one thing. On the other hand, you should know that it might be coming as a player because you see the trees, you know your buildings block it, so you always have to make sure your cavalry walk around it, or you have to be back on time before the pikemen are there. So that was a little bit unlucky, but a little bit mistake. And the big battle here near the coin, mine here, yeah, that was not the best positioning from him, and his micro could be a little bit better as well. But that is also an interesting point in what I like about this game. I've talked about this before in tutorials as well. A strategy game is about a few things. First of all, the strategy. What kind of army composition and building order, etc. do you go for? Secondly, it's about anticipating and adaptation. We've covered that several times here in the decisions that both players made. But mainly in the start, you see that you don't just stick to your plan all the way. You adapt to what you see and you try to think what's the best next decision I can make. And then you can take it one step further, especially if you play a high level game. You don't only think what's the best decision I can make from here, but you also think what is he thinking about what I might do. It's in a way it's like chess. You always try to think a few steps ahead, and you also try to anticipate the steps that your opponent can make. And then of course you do all this while playing, while microing, while raiding, while fixing your macro, etc. So experience will of course greatly increase your strength in this. And then the third point is micro. Good micro can win you games, but it's not everything. If you can micro really good, but your strategies and your anticipation is bad, then you can just lose the game anyway. We see that GoodSpeed's micro and engagements were a little bit better here, but the overall decision making from Fard was very good here in this game. And then the fourth point, just to finish this up, macro, and with macro I mean maintaining your resource balance. So for example, don't have too much coin if you need food. Make sure you switch your villagers on time. Also, of course, don't have idle villagers. Keep an eye on your outsides of your base if in case your opponent is raiding. That's actually like the fourth point of a good strategy game. And that brings me to one last comment here. I didn't see GoodSpeed raiding at all. Usually I like to see some raiding with the coyotes that you have. But what you have to keep in mind here is two things. A Dutch guy is very reliant on gold, but they have their banks or gold mines close usually. So raiding is overall less effective versus Dutch. That doesn't mean it's not effective, but it is less effective. Also, actually from early on, Fard was kind of in control of this game. So if you have a lot of battles going on, and always the worries that there might be another battle coming up soon, you have to be very careful to go for a raid. If you raid too much, and that's something that happens with some players, especially in team games, you might raid and win and kill one or two villagers or delay the opponent's gathering. But in turn, you might lose the main battle, lose your warhead, lose map control, etc. So you always have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Raiding is something that usually pays off in a little bit. Let's say you delay some gathering, your opponent is already making units. Or let's say you kill one or two villagers, your opponent is already making units. It just means that he will make less units later on because he has one or two villagers less. But if that can cause you or your team to lose a main battle, then it might not be worth it, and you can better not do it. So, I think that was it. Fard, thanks a lot for. Actually, it was his suggestion to guess this game together. and do a commentary together. But also, of course, as I hoped, I've showed some of the insights of the player. So what is he thinking at certain moments? I always try to bring that from my perspective, because I played the Civilizations, etc. as well on a high level. But now you can also see the exact thinking process of Fards. Luckily for me, in a lot of cases it was the same. So I wasn't a complete fool here, but it's always nice to see what someone else is thinking. So, anything else for it?
No.
No.
But I want to ask you. You think in 8.2 there is a chance for Dutch to win Aztec on fan patch?
Well, mostly because the Coyotes being so strong on the fan patch, I think not. Of course, Aztecs has the small advantage of map control with their warheads, and based on that, and the Coyotes being quite strong, and the Coyotes being so useful, for example, versus Dutch. If you are, for example, French or British, and you have Hussars and Musketeers, the effectiveness of Coyotes is already a little bit less. But because Dutch have pikemen and skirmishers, and no Hussar HP cards, etc., I think that a long H2 battle is in favor of Aztecs. Yes. Yes. But in this game, of course, everything got changed up a little bit because you were pushing out from early on, and you did kill his warhead, so he couldn't follow his initial strategy, and also you were opting to go for a longer colonial agenda, and longer I don't mean like all the way, as you see Fards is now in the third age, but he wanted to go for a longer colonial agenda just to make sure that he didn't give GoodSpeed too much time to take map control, warheads everywhere, and mass a lot. And exactly because GoodSpeed was not able to do this, it was a lot tougher from him to really get into this game. I think if you go for a long H2 battle where there are really big fights, big battles, a lot of Mesotins, Coyotes, Pikemen, it is in favor of the Aztecs because it's easier to micro, and I would say the composition is a little bit better. Yes. Okay, so one thing I didn't check actually during this game is if everything came through as I hope it would. Like if both of our voices are...
It sounded fine.
Oh, hey, interjection.
Hello. I really enjoyed that. That was really good. Sorry, I should have announced myself earlier, but your voices were both good. I think Fards' microphone could be a bit better, but overall, that was a really good stream. Really enjoyed that game.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's nice to hear. Fard, you still here?